They never said it out loud, but behind closed doors your name caused chaos. Divine ones. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift? Like something unspoken yet intense just happened? Let me tell you about Elia. She was the quiet one in the room, never tried to steal the spotlight, but what she didn't know was that her mere presence had triggered a silent war. Two people who had been best friends for years suddenly stopped speaking. Why? Because one had deep admiration for her, and the other was hiding jealousy. Neither admitted it. But their spirits were in conflict. One saw her light and wanted to protect it. The other wanted to dim it out of fear. This happens more than you know, divine ones. As a chosen one, you don't just enter a space, but you shake the realm. And sometimes the people around you are not ready to deal with the mirror you hold up to their souls. A shocking clash has erupted over you. Yes, you. Because people couldn't handle their feelings, their admiration, their envy, their guilt, their love, so they turned it into conflict. As Augustine of Hippo once said, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose and it will defend itself. So what exactly are these secret emotions people hide from you? And why does your light make them explode when they least expect it? Stay with me, divine ones. This video will break it all down. You need to hear every part of this so you can stay awake and walk boldly in your anointing. Because understanding these spiritual wars is key to protecting your peace and elevating higher. Point 1, your energy is a truth serum. Divine ones, let's be real. Your presence doesn't just walk into a room, it commands it. Your energy isn't passive, it doesn't wait to be acknowledged. It walks in ahead of you like a divine trumpet and announces, truth is here. And that truth, it rattles people hard. Ever notice how someone gets clumsy with their words when you lock eyes with them? They drop things, their laugh becomes nervous, or maybe they just get weirdly quiet. That's not random, it's your spiritual frequency at work. See, you carry what psychologists call high social awareness, a trait often misunderstood as intimidating when paired with emotional intelligence and a calm, observing demeanor. But spiritually speaking, that's discernment. You don't even have to speak because your energy reads the room like an open book. And certain people know you just saw something in them they didn't want exposed. And here's where it gets wild. When your light hits someone's hidden darkness, it doesn't just bounce off, it stings. Because your soul isn't just bright, it's reflective. Your energy acts like a spiritual mirror, revealing things people have worked hard to suppress. So what do? They get awkward. Some try to avoid you, others get defensive, some even turn on each other. All because your presence revealed a truth they were dodging. What's even more fascinating is how admiration can twist into envy. One person may secretly adore your grace, wishing they could move through the world like you do. Meanwhile, another resents you for shining in places they feel unseen. Suddenly, your very existence becomes the silent cause of tension, and you didn't even open your mouth. But here's the divine twist. Your energy preaches. You are a living sermon. You don't have to speak a single word for people to feel challenged, inspired, or exposed. You're not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. It just happens when truth shows up. And divine ones, you are truth walking. In a world full of masks and performances, your authenticity is disruptive, but also deeply needed. So don't dim your light to keep the peace. Let your energy speak. Let it heal, reveal, and even disturb. Because when your spirit walks into a room, something sacred happens. The fake stuff starts to fall apart. Point 2, repressed emotions can't stay hidden around you. Divine ones, let's talk about your holy frequency, a spiritual signature so powerful it doesn't just enter a room, it shifts the atmosphere. This frequency isn't loud or aggressive. It's not about flashy words or dramatic actions. It's the still, steady vibration of someone deeply aligned with divine truth. And make no mistake, truth is disruptive. You may feel like you're just existing, just walking in your purpose, yet somehow chaos starts stirring around you. Why? Because your presence disturbs the illusions people have clung to for comfort. That calm you carry, it isn't soft to the unhealed, it's seismic. You radiate authenticity. And in a world addicted to performance, that's like spiritual dynamite. People who've been suppressing their real emotions, love they never admitted, envy they tried to bury, guilt they hoped time would erase, suddenly find themselves emotionally exposed in your presence. You didn't ask for their secrets, but something about you draws them to the surface. That's the power of divine alignment. You are a mirror they didn't expect to face, a walking truth serum. Just your presence can make masks fall off. It's why some folks lash out without warning. It's why others spill confessions they've kept for years. It's not you triggering them, it's their own unresolved shadows reacting to your light. You force nothing, but your holy frequency refuses to coexist with falsehood. You're not here to play small or make others comfortable in their dysfunction. You're here to awaken, to stir, to ignite. And when two people are holding clashing emotions about you, say one secretly admires you while the other envies you, those polarities can't coexist peacefully anymore. One wants to praise you, the other wants to sabotage you. Boom! Conflict erupts, not because you started it, but because your presence illuminated their divide. You're the catalyst, not the cause. That's the sacred weight you carry. So if you ever wonder why things around you feel intense, unpredictable, or emotional, know this: it's not chaos. It's alignment doing its work. You don't have to dim your light or apologize for your frequency. You're not responsible for others' discomfort, only your obedience to divine calling. So stand tall, Divine One. The shaking means the truth is winning. Point 3. Some people love you in silence, others envy you loudly. Here's the spiritual paradox. Divine Ones. The deeper someone loves or admires you, the quieter they tend to become. It's not always out of fear, but often out of reverence. They know your light, they feel your spirit, but they keep their hands folded behind their backs, watching you win without a word, cheering in private where no eyes can judge them. In the spiritual realm, this is called hidden honor, a deep respect that stays unspoken because the world might not understand or might twist it into something it's not. They love your energy, but fear the exposure that comes with standing next to someone that powerful. Now, contrast that with the noise of envy. Oh, it's loud, it's messy, it gossips behind screens, it stirs drama at dinner tables, and it disguises itself as critique when really it's a cry for relevance. Envy doesn't stay silent because it can't. The moment you walk in, your presence rattles their insecurities. You haven't said a word, but you've already preached a sermon. Why? Because your peace convicts their chaos. Your elevation reminds them of their stagnation. You're not competing, you're just existing, and that alone makes them uncomfortable. Here's the fascinating part. Psychologists have found that envy triggers the brain in the same region as physical pain. That's right. When someone sees you doing well and they feel less than, their brain reacts as if they've been wounded. No wonder they lash out. It's not just emotional, it's neurological. A silent lover and a loud hater sitting in the same room when you enter? That's a spiritual battlefield. One wants to shield your name in prayer. The other wants to slice it with rumors. And both are uncomfortable because your authenticity forces everyone to confront who they really are. You walk in and truth follows. You don't need to prove anything. Your very being is a mirror, reflecting the unspoken intentions of others. So walk boldly. Let the silent ones stay sacred in their admiration. Let the noisy ones expose themselves. Either way, your light is doing what it's supposed to do. Reveal what's hidden, stir what's sleeping, and burn away what's false. Keep shining. Point 4. You're not just a person, you're a spiritual catalyst. You think you're just going about your day, smiling at strangers, being kind, showing grace even when it's not returned. You're not trying to cause a scene, you're just being you. But in the spiritual realm, oh, you're making waves. You're not just passing through life unnoticed, you're shaking things up without even realizing it. Chosen ones are like divine alarm clocks sent into a world that's fallen asleep. Your energy, your light, your mere existence says, wake up. The illusion is over. It's time to face the truth. And that truth, it's uncomfortable for some people, because while you're radiating authenticity, many are still hiding behind their masks. Here's the thing, light doesn't just illuminate, it exposes. And when you walk into a room, the energy changes. People may not understand why, but they feel it. Suddenly, secrets start to feel heavy. Pretenses crack. Fake smiles falter. You didn't point a finger. You didn't accuse anyone. But your presence made it impossible to keep living in denial. That's why people clash over you. Some will be drawn to your energy, craving the clarity you bring, while others will be repelled, uncomfortable with the reflection they see when you're near. Spiritually speaking, this is vibrational warfare. When someone's been vibrating at a low frequency, bitterness, envy, deception, your higher frequency disrupts their pattern. It's like a tuning fork for the soul. Some will try to match your tone, growing because of you. Others will lash out, trying to dim your light so they don't have to confront their own darkness. And the wild part? You didn't do anything. You didn't cause the drama. The conflict was already brewing beneath the surface. Your light just made it visible. Scientific studies even back this up. Human energy fields are real. Our heart's electromagnetic field can be measured up to 3 feet from the body. Imagine what happens when your soul is aligned and your spirit is radiating truth. You become a walking catalyst for transformation. But not everyone wants to transform. Some would rather stay asleep. So no, you're not too much. You're just in tune. And now that you've awakened others, even if by accident, the energy can't lie anymore. Truth has entered the chat. Point 5, they were afraid to admit how much you meant. Divine ones, let's unwrap a truth that's as deep as it is uncomfortable. Sometimes the chaos around you isn't because you did something wrong. It's because you did something right. You impacted someone on a level they weren't prepared for. You didn't just walk into their life. You disrupted the patterns they were clinging to. Maybe you spoke a word of encouragement they hadn't heard in years. Or maybe your quiet confidence reminded them of who they once hoped to be. You didn't force change. They felt it simply by being in your presence. That kind of presence, it's spiritual. It heals without demanding. It challenges without attacking. But when a person's identity is wrapped up in their pain, their pride, or their performative strength, your light becomes threatening. They didn't know how to say, "Thank you for making me feel again." Instead, their ego sounded the alarm. So they built emotional walls, distanced themselves through shade or even gossiped, not because they hated you, but because your love made them confront parts of themselves they weren't ready to face. Then enters another soul, someone brave enough to value you openly. Maybe it was a friend, a colleague, or a stranger who admired you without hesitation. They saw your worth, voiced it, honored it. And suddenly, the silent one, the one who kept their admiration locked behind guarded looks and short replies, felt exposed. Not by your actions, but by their own inaction. Now there's tension, awkwardness, maybe even drama, but not because of you, Divine One. It's because someone else had the courage to say, "You matter to me," and they didn't. And that quiet regret, it burns. It twists into resentment, confusion, even jealousy. It's easier to be angry than to be vulnerable. Easier to blame you than to face the mirror. So what do? You keep shining. You keep healing. You keep walking in purpose. Let their silence speak. Let their anger teach them. You didn't come to dim your light to make others comfortable. You came to awaken something holy, and sometimes that awakening starts with a little disruption. Their regret is not your responsibility, your only task. Keep being the light that reminds people they were always capable of love. They just forgot how to show it. Point 6, your spirit disrupts manipulative systems. Manipulators absolutely hate chosen ones. And it's not just because you refuse to play their game, it's because you break the game entirely. While others are hypnotized by charm, flattery, or fear, you stay rooted in truth. You see beyond surface smiles and polite small talk. You catch the micro-expressions, the emotional inconsistencies, the subtle power plays woven into conversations. You're not fooled by the loudest voice in the room or swayed by titles and positions. You question everything. Not because you're skeptical by default, but because your spirit knows what deception smells like. And manipulators can't stand that. They thrive in environments where silence equals safety and compliance is rewarded. They build their castles out of illusions, counting on people to ignore the cracks in the walls. But you, Earth Angel, see the cracks, and you're not afraid to say that doesn't feel right. You don't comply for comfort, and you don't flatter to survive. That makes you uncontrollable, unbribable. And in their world, that's dangerous. Science backs this up too. According to studies on emotional intelligence, individuals who possess high empathy, combined with strong boundaries, often disrupt toxic systems unconsciously. They challenge the status quo simply by existing authentically. Your very presence creates dissonance in rooms where manipulation once went unchecked. Suddenly, people begin to see the truth. You awaken others without even trying. That's your spiritual power at work. So what happens next? Conflict. Not always direct, but it's there. Tension rises. Some people become uncomfortable, others intrigued. One person, maybe a quiet observer, starts to see you as a light, a way out. They feel inspired by your courage. Meanwhile, the manipulator starts to unravel. They feel exposed. They can't control you, and worse, they can't control how others are starting to see you. That's when the spiritual battle begins, not with fists, but with whispers, politics, and emotional warfare. But here's the truth, you're not here to please, you're here to awaken. And yes, manipulators will hate you for it, but others will love you for it, need you for it, because when you show up as your unshakable, truth-seeing self, you don't just survive the storm, you are the storm, and that's why you'll always be more powerful than those who need deception to feel in control. Point 7, God uses you to unmask people. This is the spiritual root of it all. Divine ones, the sacred reason why your presence stirs the room, why silence suddenly grows loud when you walk in, and why people start revealing sides of themselves they worked hard to keep hidden. God placed something in you that unmasks the hidden. It's not just your intuition, it's a divine radar, an anointing that exposes what's been concealed. You don't even have to speak. Your energy speaks volumes. You carry light, and light naturally disturbs the dark. When you show up, the masks fall off. People may start acting strange, not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence brings truth to the surface. Hidden motives, buried emotions, false alliances, they all begin to unravel. Psychologists call this the mirror effect, where people are forced to confront parts of themselves when they meet someone who reflects truth, confidence, or peace they haven't yet embraced. Your light becomes a mirror, and for some that's uncomfortable. Some people will fight over you, or even against you, not because you provoked them, but because your presence disturbed their denial. It stirred up what they were trying to suppress. That's not your fault. That's your calling, your anointing. You're not sent to conform, you're sent to transform. But transformation often begins with disruption. Look through history. Every prophet, every liberator, every spiritual warrior sparked resistance before they sparked revival. You're not here to cause chaos, you're here to catalyze change. But understand, change rarely starts with applause, it starts with pressure. Sometimes that pressure looks like isolation. Sometimes it looks like people turning on you. But don't move, don't shrink, don't retaliate. Stand still, Divine One. Let the storm swirl around you if it must, because storms have a way of revealing who's rooted and who's just pretending. And when the dust settles, truth stands tall, and so will you. Divine Ones, the next time you see drama erupting out of nowhere, take a breath. Ask yourself, what truth just got exposed? Don't take it personal, take it spiritual. Because the clash isn't about you, it's about what you represent. You represent purity in a world that masks itself. You represent honesty in spaces where silence has been currency. And yes, sometimes people will fight because of you. But that only means your light is doing its job. Let them clash. You just keep shining, because you were never meant to blend in. You were chosen to awaken. Stay awake, Divine Ones. The war isn't over you. It's over the frequency you carry. And heaven's already claimed the victory. Until next time, keep rising, keep praying, keep glowing. You are chosen, and that changes everything.